So this is going to be a coaching session for the 9 Nazgul. This is Gold 1, I believe, on the NA Soda Q servers. So you know what to expect. So we got Ezreal, Pyke into Kaiser Bard. There could be some opportunities there for Bard to stun Pyke when he goes in. Would be quite dangerous. That'd be the main threat here. Getting bursted down during a stun would be the main way that Pyke dies here. Ezreal can't really follow up on an engage either at the start because of the lack of damage he has until he's got those items later on. So I don't imagine too much will happen down here unless maybe Bard overextends for an easy hook that way. But even then it's probably not quite gonna happen. Who's their mid laner? They got an Azir mid lane. It's not the easiest lane to gank, but it could be possible. So you might be thinking about maybe to rotate around to there. They have got a Rammus that will also lock Pyke down with a taunt quite easily. So there's a couple of things there to be careful of. Couple of bits of CC there on their team. So it looks like mid game you'll be wanting to do lots of flanks in and stuff. Let's have a look at the laning phase. I'm expecting the Pyke to be behind until level 6. Unless the Bard does some crazy plays.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds until minions spawn.
Also, I know John is here, but and we've discussed it as well briefly before starting off this review. I do prefer going coin on Pyke rather than Relic Shield. Makes it a little bit safer as well when you're going into to collect gold. Makes you less prone to CC during the lane phase and makes it less obvious when you're going to be picking up that gold. Okay. Once you miss your Q, there's literally nothing you can do, and then you have to like kind of back off quite a bit here. Try not to use your Q too much during this laning phase. As long as it's up, they kind of have to respect it. Okay, they're going to hit level 2 fast, so you need to back off quite quickly. You're in a really bad position here, because they're going to... Well, Bard's about to hit level 2 here, and I guess you're trying to like scare them off here by doing a Q cast in case they do come in here, but they would win that fight anyway. Even if they get hooked in, that would be really, really bad for you. So just be careful when you're going in toward that you don't get caught off level 2 engage here, because that would be particularly quite bad. The safer way toward that brush would have been just to stand. If you stand here next to this tree where my cursor is, and then if you put your own cursor there on that line, then the ward will go through to that brush around about here. That would be a safer way to do that. I would advise you to go in a practice tool test and just practice. Anyone watching this, if you don't know how to do this, is to just stand there, put your cursor into that where that line is there next to that stone in the waterfall, to put the ward over into the brush. Don't you get less vision that way? Yeah, but you're gonna know if the Rammus is waiting in that brush. But it's a lot safer than doing this, because if Bard was standing here, you would just get stunned against this wall straight away. So you got to respect the level 2 advantage that they've got. Oh, that's like the biggest thing in bot lane. Level 2 advantage. I'm expecting not a lot to happen. It's going to be quite hard for you to get that kind of minion as well. This lane will eventually be shoved to your tower. Your jungler's on the other side of the map as well, fighting Rammus. You don't want to really hook here. Yeah, Ezra took way too much free damage there as well. You don't want to encourage any fighting here at all. You don't want to actually fight at this point, especially with the amount of minions that are there as well. Any fighting that does take place is because they're overextended trying to do damage to the tower, basically. So yeah, a lot about this when you're playing Pyke is just capitalizing on mistakes rather than engaging in by yourself. Like if the bard was like, okay, yeah, I mean there's nothing really you can do here still. You're playing with an Ezra, don't forget, one of the weakest AD carries in terms of damage at this early portion of the stage of the game. So you really need to take your engages like carefully. Just have your Q as a deterrence most of the time, not actually always. Like here you didn't need to channel your hook at all. Ezra's comfortable farming CS at this current point in time. I know your hook's going to be a cooldown for a fair bit, so just use this bard just to go in and proc his electrocute really easily on the Ezra. Okay. Hold on, I want to rewind here. That fight chase has been happening quite a bit. I'm surprised no one's been pinging that. Could have been in a position to maybe cut this off a little bit. It's a good bard stun there. Nice Q tap there. That was good. That was a good Q tap from you there. You can't get anything in that situation there if you... Okay, you did actually get the kill. You're gonna die here though for it. The double buff is gonna get transferred over. Okay, never mind. You're playing this really, really well. I'm actually genuinely surprised. Your mechanics on Pyke are actually pretty decent, dude. Okay, I want to watch everything there. I want to watch the whole thing now. I'm actually super genuinely surprised. You said actually you're silver 3 in this, right? Oh, I want to watch everything all over again. I mean, the only complaint I have here so far is that you didn't see the river fight happening earlier here. Q-tap here is correct, because if you mess up by winding up here, then you're having it to like trying to hook bard through the tunnel portal, and sometimes it can kind of glitch out at this point where if you like hook the bard midway through the portal, he actually gets like kind of like kicked out and would land over here anyway. So Q-tap was 100% the right call there. Like this looks very weird at the start, because like I personally wouldn't have gone into this anyway, because if the Rammus taunt on you that's already one stack there that keeps you in place, and then the Kaiser's free reign to do DPS down to you, that would have been a bit risky. You flash go into there onto the Azir. You didn't have to use your E there as well. I want to have a look at what your E cooldown was actually during this. 1 second. So your E was on cooldown still at this point. So E is only just coming up, just back up here. Taunt comes through. Kaiser misses a W, which is actually pretty huge. Slip away there. That's really nice. Considering it, you played that situation like mechanically perfectly, and I've got no complaints about that at all. What do you buy here? This is going to be the biggest thing I'm going to judge you on now. Targans, boots. You got enough for a longsword there and a control wood. Perfect buy as well. Okay. Alright, so you're 2-0 here. You got double buff as well, so you can be a little bit more aggressive here. Ezra's got a tier but no sheen. Okay, your Ezra just walked up the river slightly here. You should be okay to do that trade there though. Bard flash. Okay, Ezra going in makes this extremely dangerous. You kind of just want to focus on whoever you can here, just to deter them from going too much onto the Ezra. You could probably hit this Kaiser a few more times here. It's okay. Yeah, it's a shame Ezra arcing shift in there because he took way too much extra damage there. Good hook if you can get it. E stun over. Finish off the Bard really quickly here, then you got the red buff to slow down the Kaiser. Oh, poor thought Ezreal was going to die there. Okay, he did die, and that's a shame. Yeah, you played that situation absolutely fine there as well. It's a shame the Ezreal messed up twice there. You just need to... Okay, so what I would establish from this already is that your Ezreal's kind of like flaky. And you're doing pretty well on yourself. You kind of want to like start having in your mind that you're going to want to start roaming quite early here. So yeah. So yeah, if I saw that Ezreal make that like a couple of missteps like that, the arcane shifting was pretty bad. Him dying here was pretty bad. I would think in my head that he probably hasn't got the mechanics to necessarily carry this game. So it's probably a good idea to make sure you get someone else in this game going. Ganking Azir could be possible, especially with the amount of gold that you're going to be racking up now already. You're going to have a lethality really early here. If I remember correctly, this game starts getting ugly soon with mid lane. Also find it hard to get Azir with his mobility and his ulti. Yeah. They got a nasty team in terms of CC for you to deal with. 4 of them have nasty CC for Pyke, so yeah, it's gonna be tricky for sure. I can definitely see it being a difficult game in terms of the CC that they've got there. Calling to do the dragon, I like that as well. I'm showing initiative. Okay, I have one complaint about the way you pulled the Drake in though. What you should have done here is that you should have just like done a Q cast, hook the dragon, walked away a bit and just pull it out to around about here. Because then it makes it harder for the Rams to potentially steal this from over the wall. Another thing you could do as well is like you could go to the back of this pit here and E-dash. Hit the cone here as well. And then you would fly back into the pit, but it denies them the blast cone. You can kind of do the same thing with this blast cone here when you're on the other team. When you're on this side of the map, you can then E-dash over, hit that, and then bounce back over just to deny them that. But you got a couple of options here. I wouldn't necessarily say keeping the dragon and the pit here is a good idea, but the call is fine. The call to do it's absolutely fine. Probably took a little bit too much damage from that though. Kadric is pretty annoying in terms of DPS actually. Okay, you're gonna recall. How much money have you got? 850, so that should be enough of a fallacy, right? I would go lethality over Moby Boots at this point because getting lethality... Okay, let's have a look. You went... Yeah, you went Mobies. I'm just trying to work out if you did have enough gold for lethality. I think you did. Yeah, I would go lethality over Moby Boots. I know we established earlier that you would like to roam, but the lethality extra damage there for the early stages of the game is quite a bit. And also the lethality makes it so that your W is faster anyway. So yeah, as you just said, you believe your thought here was you need to start roaming more. Yes. You can... I would stretch out the gold because now you're leaving like 200 gold in your pocket, right? Yeah, you're leaving 200 gold in your pocket, so you're not maximizing each like little GP you've got, gold coins that you've got in your inventory. So if you go lethality, it means when you hit 6, your ulti will do more damage. It means that your stun duration will go up 0.1 seconds as well. Your W speed is going to be higher there as well. So the W will help mitigate the lack of Moby Boots slightly. It's quite I personally would do that, especially when you're doing so well in the game. It just gives you that little bit extra damage as well. Like, yeah, because you're gonna have your ulti soon, and you're gonna want to be playing clean up. Ezreal's already died, so yeah, like next item definitely Moby Boots if you had lethality, but you know you're gonna get lethality and then into Dusker now at this point anyway. Your main focus now is just to hit level 6 and try and get something going onto mid because Bard will probably be roaming quite a bit as well. This game is just the nature of the champion. I would have liked you just to stay bot first until you hit 6. You're quite close to hitting level 6. maybe like 2 or 3 melee minions away from hitting 6. You've got Ignite. I would Q-tap here. Nice. Oh, I would have whacked Ignite on as well straight away. You haven't got flash to get out of here. You're probably dead on the tower, aren't you? Yeah, okay. I think your hook here was good. Your hook here was good for sure. I think it was quite risky though. I don't think you were necessarily going to get a kill here anyway. Just trying to think. I would have just played it as Q tap into... And see if he dashed away, he dashed away. Just get the little tap damage in there. Leave the lane. And then maybe could re-gank it. Especially when you're not level 6. But I would have probably stayed here. Just took the XP like really quickly just to hit the level 6. Or maybe I've just stayed in the tip of this brush just to leech some XP here really quickly. Just to take 6. Because you're so close to level 6 here. It's like not worth it to roam at that point. Does that make sense? So you will need that extra bit of damage there. If the Azir was lower here, it would have been like an easy like Q Ignite auto tap. Do you know what I mean? But try not to roam until you hit 6. Yeah. You had no chance of running back through there as well. Your best chance at that point was to like run down here, but you actually may have survived because Rammus is actually, you didn't know, but Rammus is up there, so you could have maybe have escaped back around here. Don't know if you would have survived there though, but maybe. By the time you're that deep pushed in under the tower, the only exit here is like these entrances here. With Ezreal down, you didn't want to stay in 2v1. You wouldn't have to stay in 2v1. You would have let me go back. Let me go back before you roamed in. Because where are you? So this entire wave gets cleared out. I actually missed one caster minion there. I mean, I would have just waited. Like, I would have just waited around here. For sure. Yeah. You could have easily waited at the back there. Sometimes you just need to be patient. Or even like putting the control ward here and waiting in that brush. Or even coming around here, taking some XP out in Fog of War from the Syndra, hit level 6, and then come back in around. But yeah. Ganking Priest 6 as Pyke is, can be worth it sometimes, but this was, you know, if this guy didn't have escapes, you would have had a kill. If Syndra had flash, you would have had a kill there as well, because she would have been able to flash and do spells and stuff as well there. So yeah. So far, it's your only mistake. Yeah, once again, you're not level 6 for this fight either. Okay, whoa. Okay, right, you want to balance this between thinking about hitting a minion here with your relic shield to proc off to get level 6. Trying to gift over the kill. I think you were trying to gift over the kill, right? Hit the relic shield for... Ah, you could have saved him there with the relic shield heal there as well. Okay, looked like you were gifting him the kill as well there. Don't do that. Especially when you think AD carry is bad, like in the nicest way. Like, you don't want to be gifting the Ezreal kills. So, yeah. Ezreal would have... Don't... I know it's a thing with supports, don't worry about kill securing, especially when you're playing with someone DPS like a mage or Pyke. It doesn't matter if you get the kills. It really doesn't matter. So yeah, if you were already level 6, you would have been able to clean that quickly. If you didn't gift over the kill, Ezreal would have survived. If you hit the relic shield on the minion, Ezreal would have survived. So yeah. You're so far behind. Okay, so... a misconception between players, especially in jungle, is that if a lane is losing, you should help it out, but it's actually the opposite. You want to help out people that are doing like well in the game and make them be the people that carry. If someone's behind, like for example there's Yorick top, it's going to be impossible to gank up there, so don't bother. Ezreal is obviously bad. Well, he's not as skilled, let's be polite. He's not as skilled as the other AD carries that you may have, so he isn't going to carry. You've been playing exceptionally well so far this game, apart from like one mistake mid. Don't like, just make, as I said, like, also that happens a lot. When supports try and gift overkills like that, especially when it's like a very like low HP gambling situation like that, a lot of the times the AD carry ends up dying anyway because of it, and it's just not worth it. It's just not worth the risk of that happening. It's not worth the risk of the target escaping. It's not worth the risk of someone else dying because of it as well. Because if Ezreal had survived there, say if you got the kill, okay, say if you got the Bard kill, you would have got 300 gold, Ezreal would get 150, but Ezreal would be alive here and he'd be cleaning out these waves with you. So he would make it up with the CS anyway and getting the extra XP there as well. So yeah. Hold up. I think you made a mistake here as well by pushing in the lane. Right, stop. Okay, he's died. There's 4 CS here. And your wave's coming in. You should just tank this for him. This wave here should just be tanked. Just keep it here. Keep those 3 casting minions alive at least anyway. And then basically there's 9 minions here. Well, there's a cannon there. So 10 minions versus 7. So this lane would be frozen here. These blue minions would slowly kill these red minions. So that that would deny them gold and XP and stuff. So you just want to freeze the lanes so that when Ezreal comes back into the lane, he's not having to fight over here. Because I don't know how realistically you're going to be able to push this lane in with a cannon minion. Because by the time Ezreal gets back into lane, I can imagine this wave, he's going to have to start CSing from here. And if you're going to want to roam, that's really bad for him and he's probably going to die again. So that lane, that wave should be frozen there. You're trying to push it in, but it's not going to be pushed in properly. Let's see where this wave is by the time Ezreal gets back. Yeah, pretty much exactly as I said. Now you've mega screwed up this Ezreal, because now he's like behind, but now he's forced to overextend in the lane to get CS. If this bot lane were good, they could also freeze this as well and permanently deny this Ezreal from any XP or CS. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense, John? So yeah, now Ezreal's mega far extended in the lane instead of being near under tower. They could have easily frozen this wave in. Like they could have kept like 5 CS alive here and just forced the Ezreal to have to overextend all the time. You're trying to get it to bounce off tower, but yeah, you can't push that quickly as Pyke. It would either you have more minions on your side of the map already, then you have to push in. If you haven't, if there's more enemy minions than your own minions, then you just leave it. You just leave it. Make it so that by the time Ezreal gets back into lane, it's like it's favorable for you. Because also your own minions would have denied them minions as well. So you gave them extra like CS and XP and stuff there as well, if that makes sense. Okay. Let's see what you did there with that rotation. Something happened while I was talking about that anyway. So then you decided to go mid after that. Okay, big call coming through. But I'm assuming that Azir is probably in ult range now, right? Yeah, he is now. That hurts, doesn't it? Should be able to get it still though. Okay, cool. Go back, get your lethality. You should have probably used that control ward somewhere though that you had. I would have personally put it in this pixel brush here. You should try and ward as you're moving. You've got like no vision for the Ezreal here at all. So like as you were roaming up to mid, you could either put your controlled here in this brush here because the wave was pushed in. If you were freezing the wave here to here, there would be no point putting a control up there because the enemy would easily be able to clear that out straight away. I would personally put like the controlled in this pixel brush here as you're coming up here, just to give yourself your team more vision. Do I have wards? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you got a controlled right there. I should probably move myself over a little bit, shouldn't I? Chair's too fat. There you go. You got a controlled, sorry. But other than that, good rotation over the mid. Got a Zero flash there as well. Okay, so you got lethality, longsword. Still got your control ward. When your ulti's down, you can't fight really until your ult's up, especially with Ezreal being a little bit meh. You don't want to fight here unless you get a gank, but the Syndra's coming down now. Okay, right, quick thing here. I wouldn't W just yet. You kind of W'd a little bit too early and you made them like nervous and backed off quite quickly here. Only when you notice that they start moving away from you, that's when the Syndrome might be spotted, then you want to W and then get ready to engage basically. You got a flash here as well. You could easily do like rather than just going in with W actually, you could probably just E dash flash, try and get a couple of stuns and then use your Q to like tap or hook and then use your W as the escape. Because yeah, your W's made like the Bard nervous, so he's already retreating away. Good hook there. Oh, that was close. You tried to flash double stun there. Just want to watch that just for my sake. Like, mechanics on Pyke are like decent then. Apart from maybe like the W. Kaiser got a flash there out as well. So overall pretty good. This Bard is isolated. The only way he can get out of this is like using something weird with his ulti, flash, or tunneling through here. So he probably should die here though, right? I like that you walk and you deny him that health. That's a good stasis there by the Bard though. So you got double flash out of them with your one flash. It's fine. You can't expect to get kills down here though without a gank, I don't think. You got Ignite up, you haven't got your ulti up just yet. Kaiser's health is kind of high. If they overextend for this tower, then you might want to look for an opportunity, because then they're pretty far out. It's a shame you get hit by that stun though. Yeah. I think you just right here now that the lane has reset, you just want to go to mid now, I think, from here. Oh, Kaiser thought she was safe in that by herself. Your ulti's up now, you should get a kill here. Yeah, that's kind of unlucky. Like, oh no, you're gonna die. No. Yeah, okay, you need to be careful in regards to the Kaiser ulti coming through. That's the only ticket to get out here. How would I have played this? Just thinking how I would have played this. I think because of the minion wave situation, I think you just need to E-dash here straight away rather than Wing in. E-dash and then hook. Don't know if that would get the kill. Maybe Ezreal would have been able to flash forward and stuff like that though still. I think that would have been your best chance there, is E-dash and then Q hook there. Rather than coming in with the W and then trying to set up a stun. Kaiser's bloody annoying though. least he did pick up the kill there in the end. Kaiser didn't even need to die there. So now you're coming down to mid. You're falling behind in XP now. That's the problem. This is a good call to set up for the Infernal Drake. Bard's just going to tunnel through here. Yeah, you can come around the other side here. Oh, that's a good Bard ult. That's interrupted your Q cast as well, right? Yeah, at least the Bard's ulti down would make it a bit easier to do the dragon now after that. You're definitely having the right idea in terms of macro though, for sure. And your mechanics seem decent overall. That was risky going in for all that burst damage there. You got your ulti, but you won't be able to go in there. Okay, I'm gonna rewind that. Yeah, you don't need to W so quickly either. You need to think about what's your escape gonna be. Like, you haven't got flash. You're probably gonna need to use E to stun. Usually, when you're already this close in, you don't need to W. You kind of need your W as the escape rather than the actual engage. It's nice that you dodged those skill shots there, though. I think you're too close here as well. I think you're too close there. I think if the Bard, for example, held out his stun, then you would be like dead here for sure. I think you need to come in normally with your Moby Boot speed. Try and catch out the Kaiser with your hook. If you do that, then you've got a couple of other tools there to work with your E and W. I don't think coming in with W here is the right idea, because now you're like, also because of that as well, you're going in even like faster, and Graves is nowhere near really. He's not at a good range yet, and the Ezreal's like really far out as well. So you're just isolated here in a 2v1 briefly against a lot of burst. So you try and do a Q tap there and you missed it. Thank God that your E looks like it should stun the Kaiser there. Did Ezreal heal you? No, you're out of heal range. Ends up just being a little bit of a mess. Just a question, can you cleave flash with Bard and Pyke? You can do it with Pyke's hook. Okay, Rammus is coming down now. Yeah, I wouldn't have tried to invest too much time in ganking this bot lane. They seem to be very good at managing ganks and things as well. I think your best bet is the Azir. Definitely not the Aurelia. Your best bet is Azir to get this game going a little bit. Have you completed your quest? Yeah, you have. Okay. Put the controller and the pixel brush there. I think if you have ward charges, this client is really rubbish to tell or not, but if you did have any ward charges by the time you ran about here, because especially when you haven't got a tier 1 tower up anymore, if you can put a ward in the middle of the lane to see rotations, that would be really, really helpful. It's nice that you're getting vision again over the dragon. Just going to be overall a really hard game anyway, because your top lane is massively behind. The mid lane is kind of behind, or is behind. And your Ezreal doesn't seem that great, so you don't really have much to go off here anyway. This game already does seem like it's going to be a loss anyway. Obviously you play it through to the end or whatever until the surrender comes through, but your odds of winning this game of like is like really, really, really low. Cheeky hook. It's a really hard team composition for you to actually play Pyke in as well. They've got a lot of CC. So I don't know if you're just playing Pyke just because of practice him or not, but I probably wouldn't have played it into that team. Especially after seeing a Rammus as well. Rammus would be brutal late game to play against. Okay, you can't really call for the dragon. You got wrecked. You can't really call for the dragon here either because, like, your team's not ready at all. It will just end up being like a random like 50-50 smite here because the Rammus can blast cone over, and I don't know if you know if he has flash or not. His flash happens to be down, but you could like flash steal it as well. Also, another thing, you don't have a control for this. You could maybe attempt to try and get some control over this if you had your control order. If you had in your mind that you wanted to do this Drake, you wouldn't have wanted to put your control order here. You would have wanted to put it here, inside the pit. Like doing a neutral objective without a control order, especially when a fight could break out, is extremely high risk. That's gonna just set your team back even further now. And they're guaranteed to get the info on the Drake now. Yorick did manage to kill the Iridia 1v1 though. He is making progress on that top tower. Kai's is looking quite low HP here. Bard's used his ulti already. Yeah, you can probably try for this. Try and push in the lane quickly here. If I were you. Just shove it in. Like, force the Kai'Sa to stay on the low HP that she's on. Nice hook. Ulti. Did you auto hit there? For your Duskar prop? You don't need to W at this point, by the way. You're at like no threat of anything. This W cast here is a waste. When you ult there, you should also attack as well. Especially because you knew that she would probably not be in the execute range. You could just get an auto hit off there. Don't know if you would have got the kill there though, if you had moved the auto. But you got to try and get an auto cast in. Got a flash. Nice, good. That's a good kill. Good flash. Tanking there for the Syndra, I think. I think that's fine for you to do that. Wouldn't have been the end of the world if she did take a turret shot there though. You can't hang around for too long here. Okay, so let's see how you handle this. I want to watch this in slow-mo. You can actually help out this Ezreal here by leaving a stun trail. Like, what you want to do is you want to walk up to this like Ezreal quite close. Not close enough so that the Rammus can taunt, but close to him. And then you want to like dash away so that the Rammus has to either like walk into the stun or just has to stand there standing still basically anyway. Does that make sense? Don't know how much extra damage this guy. You don't really want to hook this guy in either. Yeah, kind of like that, but over here. That was just at the flash. I think he's gonna die anyway though. Okay, nearly. So yeah. Try and do that a little bit more. Like you can use that Pyke E as a peel like that. So just walk to the target and then just like E dash away and it forces them to get stunned. Kind of thing. It's like a weird like little zoning tool there. I hope, does that make sense, John? Hopefully it does. I've got tier 1. Next objective is Baron. don't really want to go first in here. You need to act as cleanup. I really whiffed everything there. It's fine what you're doing right now is trying to peel. She's definitely dead though. Just try not to die for yourself though. Yeah. There's nothing you could do there. Ezra hasn't recalled for this and neither has Yorick. You're probably going to lose Inhib. You can't go in. You have to give everything up. You have to give everything up here. I feel bad for you here. Your team isn't ready for this at all. Very correct. You can't try and kill the Herald here. You're going to die for that, aren't you? Yeah. Just had to give everything up. You had to give up the tier 3 and the Inhib. There's no way you guys were going to defend that 4v2 with a Shelly up as well. Is that actually the game of that? That's probably the game of that, isn't it? Oh, come. That game had quite an abrupt ending, actually. So, what elo did you say that this was, John? Did you say that was like silver 2 or something? Because your mechanics are easily like plat/low diamond. Like a lot of the things you were doing were correct, apart from the W. A lot of the things you're doing, like flash, hook, a couple of mechanics to get out there. You've got the mechanics to play the champion for sure. It definitely looks like you're taking my advice on board in regards to wanting to set up the macro play. Like the Cloud Drake thing was a good call, apart from like you should just drag out the dragon. Always try and have control wards for the objectives as well. Try not to have another mistake where you're like trying to call for a gamble on the dragon and it's not even like vision secured. That's like super high risk. Not worth that at all. I mean, your top lane got trashed anyway, although he does seem to be winning it a bit better now. Try not to roam before you hit level 6. You're going to need that ulti. You really do need the ulti, especially if their jungler then starts to intervene, and if you aren't able to like use your ult to clean up and things like that, then you're going to be putting yourself in a really bad position there anyway. So try not to roam too much before 6 unless it's like you're just going in to force out a summoner or two, and then be happy with that. Like when the Azir, for example, popped the barrier and was already like really far away, should just try and be like happy with that and then walk out, and then you could always try reganking the lane if he comes back in and overextends as well. Also, don't forget to like ward when you're moving as well. Like if like when we're talking about here, when you are rotating up the top, would have been nice if you had like to put the control in the pixel brush or somewhere in the river, just to give your team more vision for when you are like moving away from the map, and giving the Ezra just a little bit more vision on where the Rammus isn't. And finally, hopefully you take the wave freezing on board here, because exactly what happened there when you tried to push in the wave, then the Ezra was forced to like overextend in the lane. Just remember, it's actually okay to recall if there's more enemy minions than your own. If you're playing a champion, that'd be 9 times out of 10 anyway. Their minions are going to kill your minions, so they get denied XP and CS, and it means that your AD will come back to more CS. It means that your AD can then also farm safer under the turret as well, especially if you want to roam anyway. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out a bit. There wasn't too much to go off in that game as I would have liked though, but there's enough pointers there, I feel like, to help your early game for sure, and maybe think about some enhancing your decision game in terms of the roaming. But yeah, just think about more in regards to using your W, like especially if you have no flash, or if you need to like use your E to engage, or if your E's on cooldown, your W needs to be more of generally more of an escape tool, or a way to rejuvenate, like regen your HP very quickly to then come back into the fight. Because if you're using it as the first thing, W's got a relatively long cooldown, and if you're using W as your literal first spell going in, you can't like go stealth and then like dance around a bit like in the shadows, heal up again, and then re-engage back in again, especially when you got like 5 points in Q with a couple of % in CDR. so your hooks are on an even lower cooldown. So you want to have like that W mainly as like a heal, as a self heal, but also as like an escape as well. So yeah, but you're doing a lot of things right. I was actually genuinely impressed in that the kills that you did get over here was pretty cool. So yeah, I think you're definitely heading in the right direction. If you keep playing like that with the things that I told you, your first like 15 minutes of the game will be even stronger for sure.